Welcome to Blue Compass. We're sharing 3 ways that your brand can excel and get a lot out of its website as we get to 2026. So these are 3 strategies that we are already using for our clients. We're seeing really great results from them. And I think the brands that win in 2026 will be doing these things on their websites. I hope it's helpful for you. Subscribe if you like to get more results with your website and digital marketing. We share stuff like this all the time. All right, so number 1 is to optimize for generative AI. All right, so it's called GAIO or AIO or Answer Engine Optimization, AEO. Lots of different names for it. I don't think the industry's quite decided yet, but this is really, really powerful. It's like SEO, but slightly different. But basically it means, you need to get your content on your web pages to show up on platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Google's AI mode, etc. More and more people are searching on these platforms. Really, really important. So how can you do that? Well, following SEO best practices is one of the ways to do it. If you're ranking in positions 1 through 10, the odds that you'll actually show up in a ChatGPT are probably pretty high as well. But it's really important to make sure everything is really concise and clear, well written in a very conversational tone, and then focus on answers to the questions you hear from your clients. It's probably pretty easy to compile a list of 10, 20 questions that you hear a lot, maybe about your products or your services. Answer those, industry-specific answers on your web pages. Usually you pose the question in a heading like an H2, and then you give a really good concise answer in paragraph text after that, and then you expand upon that. AI really seems to like this type of content formatting, so it's important to do. Also, structured data is really important. So this means like schema markup. This might be something to talk to your developer about, or we can help you with it. And then finally, there's so many websites out there that rely too much on JavaScript, and generative AI platforms generally aren't a big fan of JavaScript because they pull their answers real time usually. They don't index it like Google does with traditional results and they grab it. They pull it in real time. And just traditional HTML is a lot easier to pull from than JavaScript content. So have really, really clean JavaScript or very limited JavaScript. That's important. A developer can help you with that, but again, we can help you with that too. Okay, so number two is to invest a little more in YouTube. Create great YouTube videos, again, the same type of format that answers the questions that your clients, your audience, your target audience might have. Really important to do. And then when you do that, if you create a decent video, you put it out on YouTube, your audience can find you on YouTube, also find you through Google. Google owns YouTube. They play really well together. So optimize that video, write a really good title and description using the terms that you feel your audience would use, and then put timestamps throughout. And you've probably seen this before. Sometimes they're called keyframes or chapters, but put timestamps throughout in the description, and these can show up in Google search results. And so it's a great way to do one effort, but be able to show up in 2 different places, and then embed it on relevant pages on your website. We see really great results from this. If you have a good video that kind of summarizes or has the same message as the copy on a web page, maybe it's for one of your products or services or a blog article, it's a great way to get your users to read the copy or watch the copy, listen to the copy. Some people prefer to do one or the other. And we're seeing great results for this. It often will increase the time on page if someone stays and watches the video on your page. Gives them options. Good for SEO and good for your audience as well. All right, then number 3, very important. Google is really, really interested in trust and authenticity. And one of the ways you can do this is to celebritize your team members. In other words, make sure your team members and their expertise are represented on your website. So it's not like it's just the entity, the corporation, the business of your website that's speaking, but make it seem like it's coming from individuals. One of the ways to do this is create author web pages. Author pages on your website are important. You can put the photo, the name, the title, the description, the bio of the different people on your team who might be interested in doing this, and then associate their expertise with articles, with pages. So in other words, if you have like a certain type of retirement planning firm or something like that, if someone is all about 401ks and that's their thing, and you have content about 401ks on your website, link to it, from the author page and vice versa. Associate that individual with it. Say, written by John Smith. And that's one of the ways that Google can tell you're being authentic. They want to hear from individuals. They don't want to hear from third parties. They don't necessarily want to hear from the voice of the corporation as much. It's all about Google's EAT strategy, it's called. They want trust. They want authenticity. It's really important to try to do this. So the author pages are important. And then on your author pages too, link to the social media profiles of those said team members as well, if they're talking about that subject matter on their social too. So again, if John Smith is talking about like 401k retirement planning on his LinkedIn, link to the LinkedIn profile as well. It's the World Wide Web. All these links are important, and Google and other search platforms can tell, okay, this guy, John Smith, is really, really well versed in this topic. And Google is a lot more likely to showcase him and that content because of that expertise. We've seen great results with this. This is really fantastic. I personally have seen results with this. I'll write articles on Blue Compass's website about like web design and SEO and things like that. And it will show up in search results. Sometimes my LinkedIn posts will show up in Google search results when you Google things like how long does it take to redesign a website or something like that, because I'm very associated with that. Now, if I would try to write about 401ks, I don't think that content would show up in Google because I don't know a lot about that, and nothing online shows Google that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to 401ks. I'm not associated with that topic. So authorship is really important as well. So there's 3 things that you can do to help your website get a little more ground, create a little more traction as you go into 2026. Hope that was helpful for you. If we can help you with that, we're an amazing digital marketing agency. We build incredible websites, have great SEO, generative AI optimization, social campaigns. We do all of these sort of things and help good clients get a clear direction for their online presence. Reach out. We'll be happy to speak with you. Thanks. Talk to you next time.